Hi everyone, welcome to Jack and Cat Adventures. Today we're going to be making an authentic Italian recipe. It's Italian pizzelles, and I'm going to walk you through every step of it so that way you get everything you need, and once you get rolling it's so easy. Okay, so you're going to start out with a pizzelle maker. Now, I know there's better ones than the one I have, but they weren't as good as my mom's, which actually caught on fire last year when I was using it. It was over 50 years old. So I was in a hurry because I had already made the dough and everything. So I just went up to Walmart and bought a Prego. And I also had ordered a Cuisinart online the year before. So I have a Cuisinart and a Prego. They both work wonderful for what I'm using them for. Like I said, you can get a much more expensive one and it probably will be a lot better, but you want them from Italy. Don't get them from around here. If you want an expensive one, order through an Italian store. They're the only ones that work really well, okay? So you're going to start out with your pizzelle maker, some cooling racks. Now, you always want to put your pizzelle maker on something that will protect your countertop or your table. These get very, very hot. Just be careful when you're handling the pizzelles and everything because this whole outside is hot. Then you're going to want either like an offset spatula, a small one, or maybe a butter knife, but don't scratch the butter knife into this because this is all non-stick, okay? And you're just going to lift them off with that. I'll show all that to you when we start. I also have my Pam out. I always start with the first two because there's two in here. I spray them, and after that you don't need to spray anymore. I usually throw the first two away so we can get started. Okay. Alright, so now let's move on to making our pizzelle dough. So in a big bowl you need 10 cups of all-purpose flour, 3 cups of sugar, a dozen eggs slightly beaten, 1 pound of lard. Now I want to talk to you about the lard. I only work with the Morel. I get it at Giant Eagle. If you can't find this, just go to your butcher shop or the meat department in your grocery store, and they usually have lard for you. Tell them you're baking with it because there's 2 different kinds of lards, one that you just cook with and one that you bake with. I found this by the prepackaged meats towards the end of the rack, so you know you'll find it, or if you can't, ask. And what you're going to do is you're going to microwave it until it's melted. Do that first before you do anything else because this has to cool so you can handle it and it won't scramble the eggs, okay? Then we go on to 5 tablespoons of baking powder and 1/8 of a teaspoon of salt. And I'm using anise flavor today. These are the, I think they're called Lorraine. And I got them at the pharmacy, in the back where the pharmacy is at Walgreens. So they have it there. I think a lot of pharmacies have it. I know Walmart carries it in their baking section, like where you have the cake decorating stuff and everything, not down the baking aisle in the grocery. Alright, so this is what you have to decide. How much anise oil you want in your dough. I usually use between 5 and 6. We like it very, very tasty, I guess. Flavorful, because if you put too little in, you have a lot of flour and sugar and stuff going on here, and it just won't taste right. Go by smell. I always go by the smell. If it smells strong enough to me, it will taste delicious. So just use your judgment and, you know, play around with it. If you want to just kind of put 2 in and try it and then make a pizzelle and let it cool and taste it, you can do that, and you can always add more, okay? So let's get started. I have all my dry ingredients in here and I just kind of tossed it together, and then you make a well in the middle of your flour, okay? Now remember, you want this lard not to be cold, but able to handle it. Like I can touch the bowl, it's not hot, and it's warm, but it's not hot. So I'm going to put my oil in, my lard in here. And you'll notice my recipe is a little bit different than most. This is not a pour pizzelle. It's a roll. It's a ball and you put on. And then we're going to add our dozen lightly beaten eggs to that. And then I'm going to add my anise flavor. Everything just goes into the big bowl, okay?
Your house ends up smelling wonderful too.
And believe me, when I say 5 or 6, it's not a lot. It doesn't taste overpowering. You just get the real Italian flavor of anise, and that is an Italian flavor. Now I can smell it pretty good right now, so I'm only going to put 5 in, and I'm going to mix it. And once I get all this mixed together, I will smell it again, and we'll go from there. It all depends on how much liquid your lard has in it too. That will soak up a lot of that scent, okay? And you might need a little more flour towards the end, depending on how much water your lard has in it. Alright, so I used my wooden spoon to get it to this point, okay? Now you're just going to have to use your hands and get in there and really mix it good. You want all that flour and stuff mixed in together. And I have to tell you, I've never done less than the recipe I'm doing now. I usually double mine because everybody loves these and they go really fast. They end up eating them like, I make them, you know, about 2-3 weeks before Christmas. Unless I'm doing it for, you know, something else, then I'll do them a little bit early. But I put them in Ziploc bags, and by the time Christmas comes around, there aren't any left.
They evaporate very quickly.
And you can use vanilla, you can use any flavor you want. Okay, I am going to have to add some more flour to mine because I can just see how wet it is on my hands. And these are going to be like a cookie ball, you know, kind of on the drier side where you can roll it. So Jack will help me here.
You're going to get my butter side.
And sometimes I have to do this and sometimes I don't. It all depends on the day or whatever. I'm not even sure. We'll start with about a 1/4 cup. Just pour it on. There you go. And just get back in there and start doing this. And after every 1/4 cup, just mix it. It'll start coming off your hands really easy when it's ready. A little bit more, Jack, please. Just a 1/4. Yep, just dump it. Okay, I think that might do it. We'll see.
Looking better.
Yeah, it's much better. While you watch me do this, please like and subscribe. It's free, and you'll get notice of our new recipes that come out every week. And we do probably about 3. All right, Jackie, I need a little bit more, I think.
All right.
About an
About
1/8.
half.
Yeah. Okay. This gives you a good workout too. Get all this off the bottom. I need a little bit more, Jack. See, it's still really sticking to my fingers here, so I'm going to add a little bit more flour.
Beneath.
Yeah. It's getting really close. I don't want to overdo it. Alright, so I added about 2 more cups of flour, but you want to be able to pull it up and just roll it in your hands like that, okay? And I also added the last anise oil. I think it needed it. Okay, so we're going to get started. on making our balls. Alright, so I'm just laying down some wax paper, and I'm going to put the balls on here after I roll them. Also, start your pizzelle maker right now, plug it in, and start it getting hot, okay? Cookie scoop, and all I do is do that, and I just roll it, and then I put the balls down here, so all we have to do is grab them and make them. You will have to stop a couple times throughout to make more balls, but it's really easy. Alright, so we have all our dough balls made. There's still about half of the dough left. So I have these plugged in. They're very hot. Now read your instructions on yours because it'll tell you when it's ready. There should be like a green light. Mine is on the bottom here. I do not go by the instructions on baking. I watch them myself. I don't watch the light. So let's get started. Now your first couple might not come out. Don't worry about it. You have plenty of dough. I lightly spray mine for the first time, and then after that I don't spray anymore. Alright, so you're going to put them right in the center. You're going to put your lid down, squeeze it, and then lock it. Okay? So now I'm just kind of watching the, listening to the sizzle. And I'm going to check it here in just a second. It does not take long, you guys. So, you know, you don't want them brown. You want them very, very lightly browned. So once I look, see they're in there? They're perfect. Okay, and now I don't lock it again. You don't even have to lock it if you don't want to. Just kind of hold it down for a few seconds and then just let it go. These smell so good. Now, if you don't like anise, remember, you can use any flavor. Bubble gum, apple, lime,
chocolate,
mint. Anything you guys want, you can add to these. Alright. Now, when I first spray Pam on them, they take a few seconds longer for some reason. I don't know. But after that, it'll pick up really quick, okay? I'll run through a couple of them with you. And just make sure that your ingredients, your dry ingredients are totally mixed together. Kind of break up that baking powder in there, because sometimes big chunks of baking powder get moist and they kind of stick into the dough and don't get mixed in. Alright, so here they are. This one's just done a little bit too much for my liking, only because of the Pam. And I knew that was going to happen. So now, I'm just using my offset spatula. I took them off. I'm laying them on a cooling rack. Once they're cool, you can start stacking them. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my paper towel in, and I'm going to take all that Pam spray off.
That just gets all the excess off.
It just gets all the excess off. Just really, you guys, be careful because this iron is hot. And then I just kind of take this and I just wipe it again just to make sure it's pretty good off. And then you should be free flowing going now. So we'll do another one in the middle, in the middle. Press down. Okay, so see how brown that got? We don't want them that brown.
Oh, I guess I'll have to just eat those.
But if they come out that brown, they're probably fine. I just feel like they kind of taste a little burnt when they're brown. Okay. Now, if you want these to stay a little bit on the thicker side, don't press as tight. If you want them thinner, press tight. They're almost done. See, I still see steam coming off of them. Once the steam starts to lessen, keep checking. Once you get into a rhythm, you'll know the sound and the smell and everything before. I just have to get back in that rhythm because I only make these once a year. Right here is how you want them. They are just very, very lightly browned. That's exactly how you want them, okay? So I'm going to continue doing this and I'll check back with you. Alright, once your pizzelles are totally done, which mine are here, what you're going to do is you're going to leave the lid open on your pizzelle maker. Let it get cool so you can touch it. And then just take a damp cloth with warm water and wipe it the whole inside and outside down. Open it again, let it dry, and then put a double piece of paper towel in it and close the lid and store it like that. It'll keep your maker really clean and will stop a lot of like scratches and stuff on it, okay? And also another thing, now when I say that I put 6 things of anise oil in here, I did. But if you're going to use other flavors, I have never done other flavors, so I would start with 1 or 2 bottles and make your dough, and then make 1 or 2 pizzelles and taste it. And then if you need to add more, just continue to add more and do tastes and see what your taste is. I can't tell you how much to add because really I don't know. I just go by my taste. So please like, share, comment, and subscribe. And remember, you do you.